Look at how they massacred my boy, and listen to the Godfather Minute. I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm Andy Robinson.
And together we are the Godfather Minute Brothers, talking about minute 123 of The Godfather.
Alex, e minuto.
E minuto.
Numero
123. 23?
You got it.
123.
You got it.
I like the American 1, 2, 3 better.
Oh, you do?
It seems like it should be 1, 2, 3 or whatever.
Oh, really? It's like minute 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It should be. Seems like that should be the.
Or maybe it should be minute Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
No.
Okay.
That's next time. Today we're talking about minute 123. Mm-hmm. Minute 123. The elevator descends into the basement of Bonasera's corpse valet warehouse. The room reeks of death, formaldehyde, and regret. Vito Corleone, an aged olive oil importer, enters with a gruesome entourage. His German-Irish personal attorney, Tom Hagen, 2 anonymous funerary drones, and the body of his oldest child, Sonny. Corleone explains that he doesn't want his wife, the deceased's mother, to see her beloved boy, who only yesterday, it seems, had come home from his first day of school beaming with pride that he'd curb-stomped a Polish kid who was giving him lip about not wanting to pay up as he now lays before them. Even Bonasera is surprised, were it not for the scowl on his face, the bone bagger's expert eye knowing he died fighting. The younger Corleone was all but unrecognizable. The bullets had made industrial-grade beef out of his guts. But Bonasera, ever the professional, maintained the tender yet impassive facade that his customers had come to depend on.
Whoa. Looks like a bad news.
What?
That's not going to fit in the posting box.
In the summary review?
I think we're only allowed 400 characters.
Okay. I'll try to trim it down.
Did you write that?
Yeah.
You wrote that whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I was describing what happened.
Don't take this the wrong way, but that was professional grade writing.
Oh, thank you.
That is awesome.
Thank you very much.
You packed a lot in there.
Yeah, I want to hear how Puzo writes and how he describes the same thing. We'll see who wins.
Yeah. Well, I hope you bring that zest, that energy to all your minute summaries now.
Oh, okay, I will.
I packed so much background in there.
It never even occurred to me to try to. Okay,
I wonder if you wrote out that detailed description for every minute and strung them along as one big story. Would
like the audio book?
Yeah, pretty much. That's a description of the book, right?
Yeah, I didn't do any of the dialogue.
The cliff notes.
Yeah, there you go. It's a summary of each minute.
I have a few. I take umbrage with a few of the descriptions in there.
So
is now the time to do that?
Yeah, sure. Example. If we're setting the stage, we want to make sure we're both talking about the same stage.
Well, my summary was much simpler. It was Santino's body is brought to the funeral parlor.
Ouch. That's a little blunt, isn't it?
Don Corleone asked Bonasera to provide a service.
Oh, that's much more. Yours is much more sanitized.
Early on. Wait, could you reread it? No, I'm just early on, you said the room reeks of death, and I think
death, formaldehyde, and regret.
Yes. I feel like that's a personal interpretation you added there, and you strayed from the objective summary by writing regret.
Well, I was going by. We talked about last week how there was a scene in the book, and that was written for the script but not filmed, of Bonasera. When they call him in the middle of the night and he's saying to his wife, "Oh my gosh, what if why did I gotta do? Yeah. What am I gonna do?" Exactly, yeah.
I thought you were referring to the regret of Don Corleone.
Oh no,
having gotten his family involved.
No, I meant of Bonasera.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking because they have all those close-ups of Bonasera's face looking all like intense.
Yeah.
So
I rescind my comment.
Okay,
there was another one in there. I can't remember what it was.
About Sonny's first day of school. About the scowl.
I love the history of Tom Hagen. The scowl.
The German Irish lawyer. He does earlier say he is German Irish.
No, that's documented.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice job.
Thanks.
That's great. Wow.
Anything else for this minute?
No. I do have plenty of things from the book.
Okay.
And listening back to last week's episode, I realized I should have talked a lot more about Bonasera's, the background in him at the moment he received the call, which still spills over into this minute.
Yeah, sure. We can talk about it.
We can talk about some of that stuff. Should I jump into that?
Well, let me. I don't have much on this minute, so let me do my bits first. So, as the narration mentioned, there's two funeral workers and Tom Hagen.
Yeah.
Are there any button men involved in this?
Well, in the book, as we're about to see, Puzo wrote that there are no funeral parlor employees there. Those are all Corleone henchmen.
That's what I thought too, but they look like they're wearing funeral director jackets.
Yeah.
Like they're like a vest that looks like more like like someone who works there or something.
Maybe Tom had given them instructions. You're to wear suits as if you're funeral parlor directors. We need to give you the cover of employees.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Maybe.
I like or maybe for all this time he's been forcing Bonasera to actually hire button men as padding out the payroll kind of thing. Like, we actually got to come in now?
Yeah.
Boss, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah. That's the regret Bonasera has, not getting involved, but hiring these button men. They know how to embalm the body.
I thought when they said buttons, they meant buttoning the clothes. And the other question was that who knows in the Corleone organization who do you think knows at this point
that Santino is dead?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, as we learned last minute, Don Corleone was giving instructions to Tessio and Clemenza on what to do next, and part of that included informing. Oh no! So this is still the same night.
Presumably,
yeah. This was right after. Yeah, because Don Corleone in the last episode, at least in the book, said we have to give him a burial. Let's get started tonight.
Right,
something like that.
So for all we know, maybe like 2 weeks. Maybe he's like, I'm so sorry, Don Corleone. We only have the next opening is 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, Mama knows.
Oh, I'm sorry, because she's not
was
my
inconsolable.
crime. Yeah.
I bet all the other crime families know.
Yeah, that's true.
News
I guess once you gun them
about
down,
them.
you would be telling everyone that Sonny got gunned down on the causeway. It'd probably be all in the newspapers. I bet they'd like a story like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When the elevator comes down and they come out, I really like the old fashioned inner door of the elevator. It's that metal lattice.
Yeah, you need an elevator operator kind of.
Yeah, it's a whole separate inner door.
Yeah.
I recall being on some elevators.
My college at SVA, the only elevator in the building was one of those like a freight elevator like that.
You had to close the inner gate first.
No, they had to have. There was a guy on it operating it all the time. Yeah, because they couldn't take a chance on someone not. So it was such a pain in the ass because it was so slow, and also like. It was the only elevator in the whole building, and you could only get maybe 10 people on it or something. But when you're in a whole school full of classrooms,
right. Oh, it was in the school building itself?
Yeah, the school building,
Gosh, yeah.
It's like an 8-story building.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not like all those nerdy cartoonists are going to come extra early to class just to get on the elevator on time.
There are the film theater where they showed films in the school was like on the 7th floor.
Oh, cool.
And we had this teacher who was enormously obese. And so when the elevator was broken down, he couldn't come to class because he literally could not walk up the stairs to the place.
Wow.
So
the things you remember, right?
The things you remember.
Michael, these are great times. We've got elevators.
I had a teacher. He was tremendous. I mean that in every sense of the word.
Oh, that's crazy.
So the only other thing I had was about the Bonasera's funeral parlor. I don't know if you have any information.
Oh, I got a bunch about it.
Okay, so why don't you take over?
Sure, yeah.
Let us know what Puzo has to write about this.
Well, before we get there, the cinema part of it, I really like how. What do you make of Don Corleone's statement? I want you to use all your powers and all your skills.
I like it.
Hey, I started wondering the difference between those two and why he said that.
Well, it's funny because I think last week you mentioned that you said, "Oh, it's like they're taking the elevator down to hell."
Yeah,
and I think that this whole scene, I think, has that feeling to it. So by saying use all your powers, even makes it sound like a supernatural thing, like he's like he's a, you know, like the devil or something like that. So, which of course, Don Corleone is really the devil.
Yeah.
Bonasera is the one in hell.
Yeah.
So I guess they're both in hell because this Don's son just died. But I like that. Use all your powers and skills.
Totally.
It also goes to you and I always do in the bonus content, always do the D&D stats for, so it's kind of like
wait
that.
to talk about that. It's going to be a great one. Yeah. A question for you.
Yes.
Do you think that was really Jimmy Kahn on the stretcher?
I was wondering that myself. I actually looked it up and could not find any information.
Yeah, it's
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna say he'd want an opportunity to be in the room with Marlon Brando while he's doing his big speech and everything. So
great.
I think it's so.
I'm just wondering if they had back then. I got the impression that nowadays they have more stand-in people.
I think they had him back then too, but you know, I think
just depended on the circumstances.
I think you can see his face. They show his face, you know, at least a little bit, and I think it looks like him. I guess it could be someone just wearing a sunny mask.
Yeah. It was it's Fredo or John Cazale doubling as Santino, the actor.
Oh, the actor's doubling, not because I guess he has nothing else to do during this time.
He's in Vegas.
He's out in Vegas.
If you look carefully in the upcoming Vegas scene with Freddie, you still see some of the dead Santino makeup on his face.
Oh.
One of those continuity errors. All right, let's hit the book, Alex. Got tons of great stuff. So like I said, I'm going to go back a little bit to Bonasera right before he...
Bonasera flashback.
That's kind of a flashback. It's right before he receives this phone call. So
you're going to put in flashback music there.
I don't know if I have any flashback music.
I mean, you write some music, flashback music, and put it in there.
Well, I'll flash back, write the music then, and then play it now. Yeah.
He's not the only one with supernatural powers.
Nope. Okay, some odds and ends. There's a whole chapter about Bonasera and his work. I'm going to bring up some of the highlights. Bonasera kept his hair dyed black. An unheard of frivolity in an Italian male of his generation, but not out of vanity, simply because his hair had turned a lively pepper and salt, a color which struck him as unseemly for his profession. Isn't that interesting?
So do you think when he retires, he's like, I can finally stop dyeing my hair? And then he turns out he has a luxurious head of red hair.
Oh, dear, what could he do? Bonasera's hair is black. Let's see. Okay, so Bonasera is drinking coffee and he's with his wife. Over coffee, he thought about his poor daughter. She would never be the same. Her outward beauty had been restored, but there was the look of a frightened animal in her eyes that had made him unable to bear the sight of her. And so they had sent her to live in Boston for a time. Time would heal her wounds. Pain and terror was not so final as death, as he well knew. His work made him an optimist. Isn't it interesting?
It's got to be It's got to be take a specific type of person to be in the corpse valet line of work.
Could you ever do it, Alex?
I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I mean, I've been around many dead bodies, so I don't know if it's the kind of thing where
you've been around a lot. You haven't? Or
I have not been around.
I have not been.
No, I have not been.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the kind of thing where the first day you're like, oh my God. And then by the end of the day, you're just like, I might as well be dealing with
it's just like a side of beef.
Yeah, being a butcher shop. Yeah. So I don't know.
Hopefully
I want to find out.
I think Bonasera would take umbrage you comparing the funeral parlor business to that of a butcher shop.
And you know what? I'm glad a funeral director would, but from the outside, it does not seem like
it's all meat and bones.
Yeah, it's all
and a little bit of makeup.
The only thing separating us from the animals.
Yeah, or a whole lot of makeup in Santino's case.
They should have showed Sonny's face, and he had like all like bright red lipstick, like he's really heavily made up, like a lady.
That's right. I don't want his mother to see him like this. Make him look like Lucy, his girlfriend. I love Lucy. Yeah. And then finally, when Bonasera opens the casket at the funeral or the seeing, you hear like, "Hey, Lucy!" sound effect. Collective gasp.
It'd be like that in like a minor key. How would that go? How would that go in a minor key?
I'll go higher. Instead of
oh yeah,
it's all that sounds like the Twilight Zone. You know, the gold earring.
It does. Yeah. So who would have guessed the Twilight Zone by Golden Earring was just the I Love Lucy theme in a minor key?
Hey, maybe there's they say all rock music is
it's three notes.
It's all permutations of what already exists. I wonder if any songwriters go about doing it that way. They take a popular song and they switch the key and go from there.
Yeah. It's
interesting.
Yeah.
I know Dylan in his autobiography wrote about sometime in the 80s when he was starting to kind of flounder or lacked inspiration.
It was the 80s. I was starting to flounder.
I wrote on the songs I thought I could. He wrote that he came up with some kind of formula.
Uh-huh.
It sounds kind of technical.
Sounds very
I don't recall it, and I couldn't.
Mike Lovian.
Yeah, it was something that had to do with numbers and patterns.
Songs about surfing, man. That's what we do.
Yeah. Well, Mike Love's pattern was take a Chuck Berry song and, and write it for white kids.
Just change the key and make it for white kids.
So what did you make of that last sentence I said that Puzo had written? His work made him an optimist. Does that make sense? Would cutting up bodies make you into cutting them up? It sound like he's a butcher.
I don't know. That's an interesting his work, and not even that he was an optimist, and that's why he got into it. But his work,
he does not seem like an optimistic guy. But that's because we always see him in these very stressful, negative situations. Oh, Bonasera, you're always so down on things. You want people killed.
It's funny. It's funny to imagine that most of his life is carefree and he's a relatively happy guy, but literally the only time we ever see him is. Why does it make him an optimist? Is that your question?
I would working around. I guess
maybe because he knows he will never go broke because there's always going to be dead people. Although I'm sure Bonasera would take umbrage with that as well, because he'd be like, he has to stay competitive. It's not like there's not other funeral people to go to.
True.
You gotta.
I mean, people are killing to get into that business, literally. So I want to point out that's the third time we've used take umbrage with this episode. It's a theme.
Mm-hmm. So what else you got for us?
Let's see.
Before I take more umbrage.
Oh, we got tons more. So a little bit more background. It was more than a year since Bonasera had put himself in the debt of the Don to avenge his daughter's honor. And
wait, he got into a Don debt for his daughter?
Is
Don his daughter?
That's the name of the episode. What was it?
Don's. We just said it.
His daughter's Don debt?
Don. Yeah, sure. You'll figure out the details. I'm writing it down.
It had been a year since he had put himself in the debt of the Don to avenge his daughter's honor, and in that time, the knowledge that he must pay that debt had receded.
Oh.
He's probably thinking, maybe I know how to repay it.
Expires after a year. Everyone knows that. Yeah. It's expired sentence.
Expired debt. He had been so grateful seeing the bloody faces of those two ruffians that he would have done anything for the Don. But time erodes gratitude more quickly than it does beauty.
Oh, do you think when Bonasera saw their faces all beat up, like his professional eye was like, they could cover that cover with that makeup. Yeah. That's not so bad. It's just needs a class 3, base to cover the bruises.
Yeah. Paulie and his men don't do a good job. I could easily clean that up for that man's mother. Well, that'd be the
Where's Paulie? Let me see him so I can tell him what he did wrong.
I could see the irony is that when one of those boys dies, he's brought to Bonasera's funeral parlor, and his father says, "Oh, I don't want his father to see him like this." And then Bonasera makes him look even worse.
Draws a wiener on his face.
Sanka logo.
So
then Sanka don't even pay them.
The parents of the kids must know about the whole situation. They went to court and everything. So I assume whoever the guardians, whoever be responsible for the funerals of the two boys, would know that Bonasera was the family.
Well, the boys aren't dead.
No, but in this situation, you said if you had to go, if one of the boys died and was brought to Bonasera's thing, they wouldn't bring him there though, because I'm sure they know that.
Yeah, probably.
Unless they're like, hey, maybe that'll be a way to make amends. Because we feel bad that our kid,
let's let him draw all clown makeup, put all clown makeup on our kids.
It's not his fault his daughter was such an American slut that she was just teasing boys.
That's classic. Okay, let's see. Bonasera felt sick.
But yeah, it must be weird being a funeral person or a cadaver jockey. Because like when you look at people all the time, you must be like, huh, what would I do if they died right now?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Or you know what? Maybe you're just like so used to, you're like, oh, everyone looks so lifelike.
Oh, I know.
When you see them in the parlor, they're all like still and perfect.
I see a spin-off, Alex.
Bonasera.
Yeah, Bonasera.
You know what I learned that Bonasera means in Italian?
Don't tell me. Bonasera. Oh, isn't it like good morning? Or
good
something?
Night.
Good night. Oh,
perfect.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Good night. That's great. Let's see. He
was sick.
Bonasera was surprised that the cold. Okay, so Hagen calls.
Mm-hmm.
Bonasera was surprised at the coldness in Hagen's voice. The consigliere had always been a courteous man, though not Italian, but now he was being rudely brusque. I just wanted to point out that Bonasera pointed out he was courteous, though not Italian. That interesting.
So this isn't the middle of the night then?
Oh, this is the evening. Yes.
Oh, so the evening. It's not like he's waking up Bonasera in the middle of the night.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, because then it would have been fitting if he says Bonasera.
So take a salt and pepper here and come over here.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing about Bonasera. Do you think when he's ever taken a step, he's seen people in real life says, you look you look perfect right now. You should die right now. No makeup would be needed.
Let me take a picture of you.
So Hagen and Bonasera are talking, and Tom says, don't have any people who work for you there. Send them home. So I want to point that out, which we did earlier. I'm not sure why. I think probably because he's a high-profile crime boss.
Probably because the Don doesn't want strangers to see him blubbering like a little baby.
Oh, do you think that's why? I was thinking like stories in the paper, the tabloids.
That too. Yeah, they don't want anyone taking any accidental photos or accidental photos.
And then Tom says...
That would be ironic if they did take pictures after Sonny was the one who broke the camera through. A fitting bit of revenge for the photographer.
It all comes full circle, right? So Hagen says, if you have any objections to this, speak now, and I'll inform Don Corleone. He has other friends who can do him this service.
Oh, boy. He's trying to let him know. You better give him a good deal. Otherwise, he's going to go across town.
So what would you have done if you're Bonasera? Hagen's giving him an out.
I would totally do it.
You would do what?
I would say, no. You know.
Well, you are as smart as Bonasera then, Alex.
Yeah, you don't want to turn him down once want a favor. You don't want to turn him down for a favor once you've said no. You know what I mean?
And this may be his way to pay his Don's daughter debt.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get that the Don's daughter debt done.
All done. Puzo writes, Amerigo Bonasera almost cried out in his fright. Mamma mia! For a funeral director, he's very thin-skinned, this guy.
Ghost!
How can you think I would refuse the Godfather? Of course I'll do anything he wishes. I haven't forgotten my debt. I'll go to my business immediately, at once. Hagen's voice was gentler now, but there was something strange about it. Thank you, he said.
It said so gentler. Thank you.
Thank you. The Don never doubted you. The question was mine. Oblige him tonight, and you can always come to me in any trouble. You'll earn my personal friendship.
Wow. So
isn't that interesting?
The chain of indebtedness continues because now Tom is the one who's in debt to Bonasera.
Yeah. Yeah.
So eventually Bonasera is going to be like, oh, I need you to notarize this for me. He's going to take advantage of it being a lawyer.
And then Tom's like, oh! Cried out in fright.
I only have one client.
So this is the second time, I think, in the book where we see, in the book, you don't see the movie, where Hagen is doing deals on his own, sort of leveraging favors and services, because he does that to Johnny Fontaine when he's talking to him out in California about producing films, because Tom even says, oh, I'll help to fund your movies and all that. So it was interesting. You don't really see that in the movie so much. Puzo writes, this so Hagen said, oh, you can come to me. Yeah. This frightened Amerigo Bonasera even more. He stuttered. The Don himself is coming to me tonight? Yes, Hagen said. Then he's completely recovered from his injuries? Thank God, Bonasera said. His voice made it a question.
Thank God?
It sounds like that, yeah. There's no question mark, but there was a pause at the other end of the phone. Then Hagen's voice said very quietly, yes. There was a click and the phone went dead. Oh. Isn't that the strangest exchange there?
That is weird.
I don't know what I totally make of that.
What?
What? So it sounds like Bonasera is asking, so did he recover from his injuries? Yeah. And then Hagen pauses. Why does Hagen pause and then say yes and then just hang up?
Well, because doesn't he say something about thank God?
Yeah. He said, then he's completely recovered from his injuries. Thank God. His voice made it sound like a question.
So Bonasera says thank God.
Said all of that, yeah.
So then maybe Tom's like, yeah, thank God he's like, Tom maybe didn't want him to recover.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Or I've interpreted it as yes, but kind of like he's kind of recovered from his injuries.
Right. Yeah.
But he has to say yes because all the other crime felonies need to know that he's back and strong. Oh, because then Fredo's the next one in line.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. But Don never would have paused. Don would have, if the pause, I think, portrays that maybe Hagen's questioning whether Don is fully recovered.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a strategic mistake. Because now Bonasera is going to go to Barzini and say, Hagen, he a pause. I don't know if the Don is as strong as
so you're saying portrayed. You're saying Tom shouldn't have shown pause.
At least he should have waited till the morning.
Yeah, that probably would have been better.
Awesome. And then Bonasera was sweating. And then he's
not soiling himself. He's not pulling it in Lugabrazzi.
It was great how he stuttered too. Okay, then there's a bit about him preparing. He goes to the funeral parlor. There's a little background information about the funeral parlor. So Puzo wrote that the previous owner had in the front of the funeral parlor a bunch of steps to get into it. And it was really hard for as he writes, crippled and old people to get in, and so they used to ride the elevator to get into the funeral parlor. So capable people would walk up the steps.
Got it.
But cripples
and old people
would ride with the casket that would go right up into the funeral parlor for the viewing.
What?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Is elevator service that hard to do that they can't bring them up? They can't bring them up in separate things?
Puzo writes, old and crippled mourners determined to pay their respects had found the steps almost impossible to mount.
Okay, yeah, not that part.
So the former undertaker had used the freight elevator for these people, a small metal platform that rose out of the ground beside the building.
Okay.
The elevator was for coffins and bodies. It would descend underground, then rise into the funeral parlor itself, so that a crippled mourner would find himself rising through the floor beside the coffin as other mourners moved their black chairs aside to let the elevator rise through the trap door.
That's so weird.
Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine being in a room and the coffin comes up and there are a few people on that platform?
So if you're like, what if you're like 10 minutes late for the funeral?
You're out of luck. And crippled?
And crippled.
You're out of luck.
They don't lower the thing again. They don't have like a second round of letting people, like an intermission where they let more people come in and get their seats.
And then the lights flash and people go back up. No, I think it's...
Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Sounds like OSHA or whatever needs to get in there. No, what is it? The Disabilities... America with Disabilities Act needs to get in there. And
then when the crippled... So this is after the viewing. Then when the crippled or aged... mourner had finished paying his respects, the elevator would again come up through the polished floor to take him down and out again. So I guess it would come up. They would move the casket and the crippled mourners off the elevator, and then it would go down, and then the trapdoor would shut, and then afterward it would come back up again.
Oh, I guess so. But also,
I'm guessing this is based on.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's based on a real. But also, Bonasera, how many of your customers are old?
Well, this is the previous funeral director.
Oh, the previous funeral director used to bring people up the elevator.
Yes, so everything I just described was the previous one.
I'm glad he's the previous one because that's a very stupid system.
Well, that's what Bonasera said.
Yeah.
America puts it right.
He said, what's the matter you face?
So Bonasera asked the Don to do him a favor to rebuild that whole system.
Wow, that's an elaborate...
We've got people in construction, don't we? Hey. Butzer writes, Bonasera had found the solution to the problem unseemly and penny pinching.
Totally.
I'm not sure why it was penny pinching.
Because you should just build a specific elevator for cripples.
That's not what they did.
Or put a ramp in, at least.
So he had the front of the building remodeled, the stoop done away with, and a slightly inclining walk put in its place. But of course, the elevator was still used for coffins and corpses.
Okay.
So
it's a corpse elevator.
Yeah, it's a corpse elevator. Corpse valet using the corpse elevator.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe Bonasera was the pioneer in creating ramps and complying with now modern ADA laws.
And there's not even a plaque or a statue. Actually, I don't know for sure. There might be.
There might be. Puzo writes, Bonasera is still right before the Don comes in. Bonasera went to the office, sat at his desk, and lit up a Camel. One of the few times he had ever smoked in this building. And he's smoking in the earlier scene when he's at home. But it's interesting, Puzo wrote a Camel. What do you make of that?
A Camel cigarette.
Yeah, I know. But did people just refer to cigarettes as Camels? Or is Puzo getting paid for this? Or is Bonasera getting paid? We know Sanka's already.
Yeah, he can only smoke official Camel. Is there in the book? Is there a little trademark
symbol? No,
or a hyperlink that will take you to the website?
No, no. What do you think?
I think it's probably product placement.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah,
Paramount's making more.
Well, let's see. Does it say he lit up a Camel? Its smooth, refreshing drag calmed him while also getting him ready for a busy day, and you made him sexier.
He would not have been able to face Don Corleone without the satisfying, relaxing effect of the cool Camel cigarette. The Don arriving, sipping a Sanka. The whole section's all product placement. Puzo writes, for the last year, the Corleone family had waged war against the five... Oh, this was another thing.
Against the five families?
Against the five great mafia families of New York.
Oh, interesting.
And the carnage had filled the newspapers. I'll have to look back in an earlier chapter about that war. That'll be my homework.
Okay.
So clearly there are 6 families, right?
I guess so, but I thought earlier they mentioned the 5 families and stuff.
It must. In the context of the Corleone conversations, they must always be referring to the other 5,
right?
But it's in capital letters. You would think it would. The great capital mafia families of New York.
All right, we'll ask. We'll
answer. Okay,
we'll look it up and we'll have to do that in the bonus content.
So another portion of the section I wanted to point out. So the war had been in the newspapers. This is great. Many men on both sides had been killed. Now the Corleone family had killed somebody. So this is Bonasera not knowing what to expect. It's like, oh my gosh, now the Corleone family had killed somebody so important and they wished to hide his body, make it disappear. And what better way than to have it officially buried by a registered undertaker? And Amerigo Bonasera had no illusions about the act he was to commit. He would be an accessory to murder.
Dun, dun, dun. Order.
Yeah, and he's worried about a trial and his family being dragged through the newspapers, all of that.
Bad enough that his daughter got them into all this trouble to begin with. So this is even more bad publicity for him.
Business will have to suffer. Santino said that.
As well as my personal doesn't suffer.
Puzo writes, and then Bonasera thought of something even more terrifying. When the other mafia families found out that he had aided the Corleones, they would treat him as an enemy.
Oh.
So he's getting...
They'll be outcast.
In the community of funeral directors. I get no clients. They're all dying to get in. They're all dying to use my competitors. Let's see. They would murder him. And now he cursed the day he had gone to the Godfather and begged for his vengeance. He cursed the day his wife and the wife of Don Corleone had become friends. He cursed the daughter and America and his own success.
Wow.
And then his optimism returned.
Oh, that was a quick story. We weathered that storm, okay? As the cool smoke of the camel flooded his lungs, he realized none of this matters.
The camel cigarette brought back his optimism. It could all go well. Don Corleone was a clever man. Certainly everything had been arranged to keep the secret. He had only to keep his nerve. For, of course, the one thing more fatal than any other was to earn the Don's displeasure.
He's famous for his Yelp reviews. Don, he's a taste. No, what is it called? Influencer.
Yeah, I'm an influencer. 20,000 Instagram followers ready to come here to your business.
That's a lot in 1947.
What was it? Keep in mind, Instagram was a mail order service back then. You had to get the pictures mailed to you every day.
Sonny, if they offer you this digital online platform, you take the deal. If the old man dies.
A lot of money in them pixels.
And let's see. Okay, so they all arrive. One difference in the book, Alex, is that Clemenza enters first. And he searches the rooms. And then he leaves. Then Clemenza leaves, and then all these other people come in, just like in the movie. The dialogue is very similar. And then, let's see, Don Corleone says, I do not wish his mother to see him as he is. Don Corleone went to the table and drew down the gray blanket. Amerigo Bonasera, against all his will, against all his years of training and experience, let out a gasp of horror. Mama mia! Has he really seen worse than this? Maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, like if someone got run over by a truck or something, and they'd be all like, I mean, although 1,000 gunshots has got to be a pretty, especially, and then when they kicked him at the end.
That's true. They kicked him in the face.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I guess you and I are so desensitized to this kind of thing, but it's an everyday Joe seeing someone murdered like that. That would be
but he's not an everyday Joe.
That's true.
He sees, he's sure he's seen all sorts of machine
that's
industrial accidents.
I guess the power of it is someone who is so desensitized, like he is to death. Even he is horrified. Yeah, it amplifies the drama.
Or he was just doing it to make the Don. He's like, oh, that's it? Oh, I thought you were telling me something bad. So you had to make it seem like this is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone. He probably does that whenever anyone comes in. Like, like my daughter has died. Oh, don't say that.
Well, when he sees the body, I think he does that because he's hoping that will raise his tips in the end.
Or he never got used to it. Like every time he's back in funeral school, like he would always.
I inherit this business from my father. I never wanted it. I have no stomach for this.
I said, you talk about my future. My father.
Oh, by the way, I think when when the board, the Camel Cigarette board of directors read this whole passage. They were really upset because the cigarette was supposed to calm him, but it's not working.
Yeah, clearly making him his throat was scratchy and he got betrayed by a different company like Marlboro up the price, and then they start bad mouthing Camel.
That'd be great.
Camel, those stinky animals, they smell disgusting.
Puzo should have pitted them against each other every chapter. They are as an alternating cigarette war. Company, and it's they're all paying ads, but then Puzo says, in the next chapter I need another cigarette, and this character is going to be even cooler. Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy that chapter too?
Oh, wow, it's really it's going to turn into open market.
And then finally, Puzo writes, Bonasera let out a gasp of horror. I think we're like, On the embalming table was the bullet-smashed face of Sonny Corleone.
Oh, just his face?
Just his face. The left eye, drowned in blood, had a star fracture in its lens. The bridge of his nose and left cheekbone were hammered into pulp. For one fraction of a second, the Don put out his hand to support himself against Bonasera's body.
Uh-oh.
That's great how symbolic that is. So you're leaning on the funeral dread.
See how they have massacred my son,
he said.
Oh, that's next week.
They didn't say that? He didn't say that this week?
No, that's next week.
I'll reread that next week then.
Well, thanks for spoiling it.
That's all I got, Alex.
The only other thing I had was I think this is maybe just in the video game, but somewhere on the Godfather wiki, it says that his funeral parlor, known as Bonasera's, is next to St. Patrick's Old Cathedral, which is, I guess, in downtown Manhattan. Mm-hmm. I guess must be near Little Italy, where Anyway, so but that church is not only where he gets baptized, not only where the baptism happens, but also when Michael receives his award from the bishop in GF3, it's that same church.
Awesome.
So there you go. So it all ties in.
Wow, it is.
Bonasera.
It's a neighborhood film. It's a neighborhood trilogy.
Exactly. So what do you want to rate this one?
There's a lot of grief. A lot of bad blood. Okay, I got mine.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Look at
what is it you wish me to do?
It's great. It really is just great.
What do you think? I guess he in the movie he doesn't seem as worried that he's going to have to murder somebody or that he's going to have to. I guess he's kind of relieved when it's Sonny because he's like, oh, well, at least I'm not an accountant. No one's going to be mad at me that I'm doing this. It's not like I'm burying Barzini's son or something. Yeah. He never talked to Barzini.
Oh, he didn't.
He never talked
we
to
can't
Barzini.
Cheer that.
Yeah. Boo, boo, boo.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, there we go. That was a great minute. Mm-hmm. Got Brando to acting chops. He's been gone for a while, but now he's back and better than ever.
Yeah. Great acting. Just the grief on his face.
Do you guys agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Do you think Bonasera was a better actor in this scene? Go over Fredo Corleone's Mickey Mouse Nightclub on Facebook. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about any Godfather stuff.
Yeah, and rate us on iTunes or any other platform where you download the episodes.
Mm-hmm. And and until then, I use all your powers and all your skills. Because